Well, welcome to another episode of People in Politics here on YouTube. We're very honored today to have a very special guest with us, Congresswoman Marcia Fudge from Ohio District 11. It's great to have you, Marcia.
Oh, thank you. I'm
mind
happy
if I
to be
call you
here.
Marcia?
No, that's just fine.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure.
That's great.
We usually try to keep this around 12 to 15 minutes, but with your experience, we can go on for about 72 hours. I'm going to try not to do that, guys, but I do want to fit in as much as possible, so I'm going to go right into it because your background is absolutely phenomenal. It's amazing. You went to Shaker High School. Right?
Absolutely right.
Okay, and I just learned recently that you fenced in high school.
I did.
Okay, I learned that through the Colbert Report, which seemed like a great interview. He had this great smile all the time, and he's very sarcastic, so I had to take a little while.
Let me tell you what, you can't help but laugh because, and I sat with him an hour and a half, and he never, ever stopped. He just has you going from the time he sits down to the time it's over.
And he's sarcastic the whole time?
The whole time. He never, ever comes out of character.
Now,
when the cameras are off or on, he's the same.
It doesn't make a difference.
No, it doesn't make a difference.
Now, I'm going to do a spoiler report. So those of you who have not seen it yet, tune off, come back in 10 seconds. You let him win, right?
I did. I let him win.
Okay, I was just going to say.
Let him win. But it didn't hurt that he's like 10 years younger. His reflexes are probably a little better.
He looks a lot older, I gotta say.
And he does this. He fences. See, I haven't done this in 40 years. It's a difference. It makes a big difference.
Now, you were also quite the athlete, too, because you went to Ohio State and you played basketball?
I did.
And what position?
I played guard, point guard.
Yeah,
but,
should we stand up so everybody can see how tall we are together?
But, I played volleyball. I played basketball, field hockey. I was the goalie on our high school field hockey team.
Wow.
I mean, I lettered in 6 or 7 different sports. So I played a lot of sports in high school.
So you played a lot of sports, high school, and then basketball was just in college?
Mm-hmm, just my first year.
Just your first year,
right.
Okay. And then you graduated from Ohio State and got your law degree right after that?
Right. Well, no, I was out for about 4 years or a little better, and then I went back to law school here at Cleveland Marshall.
Of course, that's where everybody graduated from here.
Yeah, that's what we do here. We go to our local schools, our local law schools.
You got to support the
local. You got to go to Case or you got to go to Marshall.
Yeah.
One of the two.
And they're two great schools.
Excellent.
Naturally great schools.
Excellent schools.
Now, did you practice law or did you go into the business?
I practiced law for a few years and realized it wasn't really my forte.
Yeah.
But I did find my niche. I used to do a lot of probate work, which I really kind of created for myself a really good practice. And then subsequently, I went and worked for the county auditor. And so at that point, then I stopped practicing law.
Sure.
And then I went from the auditor's office to the prosecutor's office and prosecutor's office to Congress. With Stephanie, and then I ran for mayor, and then now I'm back in Congress.
You took the short way through. I'm gonna back it up a little bit. When did you know you wanted to be involved in politics?
I don't know that I ever really did know that I wanted to be involved in politics. Things just happen. Stephanie and I were friends, and so when she decided to run for judge, of course, we were supportive of her running. But now, my mother was always very, very active, as was my grandmother. My grandmother was kind of a neighborhood organizing type of person. My mother was a labor person, is a labor person still, but retired. And so I've always been involved in my community and involved in activities. When Carl Stokes ran for mayor, I was one of the young folks for Stokes. Wow. But I never knew that I wanted to do it as a career. It's just something that I've always been involved in. I've always been really, really active in my community.
Sure. And then you moved to Warrensville Heights, and you were there for a while. Do you still?
I still live in Warrensville Heights.
You still live in Warrensville Heights.
I do.
And the opportunity came up and said, "I'm going to run for mayor."
Well, at the time, if you remember, the current mayor, who was Grabo, was indicted.
Yes.
And was forced to resign. And so the person who was city council president at the time, he was running, but a lot of community people were coming to say, "We really want you to run." I had never given it any thought. They kept saying, "We want you to run, we want you to run." And so I finally said, you know what, maybe this is something good. And so I ran, and I won.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, it's kind of a sober note because I know that you and Stephanie were very, very close.
That's true.
And her tragic death kind of was the precipice for you getting involved in the Congress.
Right.
Now, were you were appointed to that spot before you ran, or how did that work?
It's the most convoluted thing you can ever imagine. I had what amounted to like 4 elections in 6 weeks.
Wow.
The party had to decide who to put on the ballot to replace Stephanie. Because it was after the actual filing deadline, the party had to vote. So we ran a party election, basically. And there were, I think, five, maybe 6 candidates at the time. So we all were trying to get, of course, our precinct people executive committee. So I won the opportunity to be put on the ballot. So then I had a special primary.
Wow.
I then had the general election, and then a special general election.
Wow.
So in about a 6 or 7 week period, I had 4 different elections. See, because what people don't realize is that Congress is the only office you cannot be appointed to. You can be appointed senator, you can be appointed anything else except a member of Congress, and that is by Constitution. You cannot be appointed to the Congress of the United States.
I did not know that.
That's why you always have these special elections. It is against the law to appoint someone to a council position.
So with everything that you went through in a very short time period, I think everybody kind of saw that you really wanted to go to Congress. and it was probably to continue on with that fantastic legacy that Stephanie had.
No question about it. I mean, we had worked together for many, many years. I went to the prosecutor's office because she became the prosecutor. Yeah. When she became a member of Congress, I was her first chief of staff.
Wow.
We were roommates while we were there together. And so we're very close. And I wanted to be sure of 2 things. One is that her work would continue, and secondly, that her legacy would be what I thought it should be. So I think sometimes we forget how good people are until we lose them. Sure. So I wanted to be sure that people understood all of the good work she did.
Sure.
And that's really the reason that I ran, in addition to everybody calling me saying, you got to do this, she would want you to do it, you got to do it, you got to do it.
Well, I will tell you, and it's not just because you're on the show or I'm a big fan of yours, you've done an absolutely incredible job, and growing up in the Cleveland area, everybody knew Stephanie Tubbs Jones, and everybody knew that she had such big shoes to fill. But you've done an incredible job at doing it.
Thank you.
And I think everybody, and especially the people down in the Akron area who you now represent, thanks to redistricting, you know, I'm sure that they will become very familiar with the way that you represent your district, because you do a great job at it.
Thank you so much. I'm very humbled by that. I just want to do the best I know how to do. I'm loving Akron.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the people. I'm enjoying learning about it. It has been, I think, a really good thing for me to represent Akron and Cleveland, because I represent the 2 biggest players in Northeast Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
And it helps me when I talk with both communities to find out how much alike they really are, and then what the subtle differences as well. So it's really been, I think, a really good thing, not just for me, but for the district as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Cleveland and Akron have a lot of similarities.
Absolutely.
And I think that it'll go very, very well.
I think the Akron people at first were like, somebody from Cleveland? Are you serious?
It's only a 20-minute drive down 77.
But they think it's like another whole world. But it's all good.
Well, you just recently, well, a couple months ago now, had the honor of going to Nelson Mandela's funeral, and you were invited by President Obama,
right,
to join his convoy to go.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you know, it's so funny. When Nelson Mandela died, you know, we tried to determine if we could take a group down, and I have to say, John Boehner was saying, "Yep, Marcia, you know, we'll let you lead a delegation down." Of course, we had to have a Republican lead our delegation,
sure,
but it was one of my classmates.
Sure.
So it worked out really, really well. We took almost 20 members, and it was a great, great trip. I think the thing that was so crazy is that they have absolutely no order, no security. I mean, we were supposed to be met at the airport. Nobody showed up.
Really?
No. Nobody showed up.
Wow.
We were supposed to have security at the hotel. Nobody showed
Did that
up.
make people nervous?
Very.
Okay.
Very.
Yeah,
you got 20 members of Congress on a plane.
Yeah.
Plus, we've got, thank goodness, we had some of our own security, of course.
Yeah.
But it was pretty scary.
Was it Air Force One or was it a different?
No, we took a different plane.
This was okay.
Yeah, we took a military plane.
And then you get there, you're in a hotel, you go to this massive stadium.
It's like something you've never. And then we can't get in because we have no credentials. We have no credentials because they were supposed to have all of our credentials ready, and they said fax machine just broke. This got stuff we're getting. So we get there and we're saying, how are we going to get in? Because we were in the president's motorcade, but when it got so many cars, they're like, nope, nobody else can go underground. So we're sitting there trying to figure out how to get in. We got our embassy people, and they're like, we just gonna bum rush the door. So we all get off the bus. They said, just don't stop. No matter what you do, just don't stop walking.
Yeah, pretend like you're supposed to be here.
We just all walked in. Everybody just walked in. There people were looking at us, we just kept walking.
Wow.
No security. It was pretty scary.
And I'm just assuming that nobody in the congressional delegation understood sign language, because that would have been that would have been a tip off to everybody. Like, I think we need to get him off the stage.
And everybody's going, what is he saying? I'm thinking, here's this crazy guy who we subsequently, of course, found out had been convicted of murder or something and rape or something. Yeah, no, something really crazy. He is right next to all of these heads of state, right? And they're worried about us. I'm thinking, you worried about us? Yeah. And this guy is like a heartbeat away. Insane. And people were saying, he's not saying anything. But yeah, I don't know sign language. He just keeps doing the same thing, like this. It's just like this. I think, what is this guy saying? It was insane.
So people were saying there, like, I don't know what this guy's talking
we don't know
about.
what he's saying. Somebody said he's not signing. But we're not paying attention. We're thinking he's the official person.
The moment. I mean, this is a huge event.
He was not signing.
Wow.
He's just a nut. How he got that security, we don't know, and we could barely get into the stadium.
Yeah, you guys couldn't get in, but the murderer got in. That's fine. That's no problem with that.
Insanity.
Well, now we know how lucky we are to be in the United States with that.
Right.
That's for sure.
It was pretty crazy.
Now, you've been in office now for 3 terms?
Yes.
Okay, so 3 terms. That had to have been one of the highlights.
Oh, it was. I mean, just to be in the stadium where people were so excited to be there to celebrate.
It's a lot of love in that stadium.
People dancing and singing, not crying, dancing and singing and celebrating the life of someone who changed the world. Not just South Africa, the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it was really an honor to be able to be there. I mean, we actually flew in. We had time to change our clothes. We went to the stadium. We left the stadium. We came back. We were in the hotel 12 hours. We were back on a plane for another 17 hours.
Wow.
That's how fast it was.
You had to be exhausted.
Oh, we were all we were really
Did everybody bring
tired.
vitamin B shots with the 5-hour energies?
Something. We needed something, because I'm telling you, we were on the ground less than 24 hours.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Wow. Now, that obviously was one of the highlights, but when you were growing up, you obviously didn't see yourself in Congress.
No.
You probably didn't see yourself as the head of the Congressional Black Caucus, which is a huge honor
it is.
to be in today, and to serve with a lot of people who grew up in the civil rights movement.
Sure.
I mean, just like you. Are you able to have really good conversations with a lot of people in the caucus and learn a lot about that history?
I have. I mean, I had the opportunity. Well, John Lewis is in the caucus, of course. Yeah. But we have people like Jim Clyburn, who was one of the early pioneers. We have people that were night riders, like Benny Thompson from Mississippi, and people who know a lot of the history. John Conyers, all these guys, Charlie Rangel. So it really is an opportunity to learn a lot. But the other thing it does is it gives me the chance to participate in things. 2 years ago, or a year ago, we celebrated the 50th, commemorated the 50th anniversary, obviously, of the March on Washington, the bombing of the little girls in a church in Birmingham. I had an opportunity to go and be a part of those programs, both of those programs. When you look back on what has happened this year, we're talking about the 50th anniversary of Freedom Summer. I took this in January or February. I took a tour through Mississippi and Alabama, where we started to recreate what happened 50 years ago in Freedom Summer. And so it gives me an opportunity to talk to people like Merle Evers Williams about the night that Medgar Evers was shot dead on their carport, or to talk to other civil rights icons. It's been an experience that I could never have imagined, and one that I will cherish forever.
And you were elected to that position by your peers,
yes.
correct? Fairly new.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure that one out.
That's a big
I think they figured out that I would work really, really hard. So they said, let's give it to her.
It's the smile. And I hope that you're as in awe of I am of your career, and you need to take a step back and take a look at it, because you really have done a lot in a very short amount of time.
I appreciate that.
But one of the questions that I do like to ask everybody, and I don't want to put you on the spot because you are a member of Congress, but if you were to look back, it could be current, it could be past, who would you feel would be a president that you can relate to? Your favorite president, call it, or a president that you can relate to philosophically?
You know what? I mean, I get along very well, obviously, with the current president. I interact with the White House quite a bit, and I get along with Bill Clinton. And probably in my lifetime, those are the two presidents that I know the most about.
Sure.
And when I came in as a member of Congress, I came at the same time President Obama came.
Sure.
So that's the president I've worked with. And I've had the opportunity over the years to meet other presidents. I'd have to say that those are my two favorite presidents.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you that I would love to meet Bill Clinton. So
He's
not
great.
to put, if you ever get an opportunity, just call me
All
up.
right,
I'll
we'll
fly
do.
wherever I need to
We'll
go
do.
to try to meet Bill Clinton.
He is the best politician I've ever met.
Ever.
Ever.
I agree. I
Ever.
agree. Yeah, I couldn't see that any other way.
No. I mean, if he was sitting here talking to you, you would feel like you were the only person in the world. That's how good he is at what he does.
That's what I've talked to a lot of people like
He's
that, and
really
there's
good.
crowds of people, 10,000 plus
Oh,
people,
yeah.
and they all say the exact
yeah.
same thing. I think that's something that you can't buy. That's something that you can't earn. I mean, that's an innate ability.
He came here the last time he was here, and it was during the election actually. So that was in early part of 08 or maybe latter part of 07. He walks into a room full of elected officials, right? He's late, like he always is. He's like 25 minutes, 30 minutes late, because he's always late.
Yeah.
He walks in, and he takes a picture with almost everybody in that room. He shakes hands and talks to everybody in that room, just like that's what he was supposed to be doing. So now he hits the stage, he's 45 minutes, an hour late.
Yeah.
But he made everybody there feel good about his
Wow.
being here. And that's just the kind of person he is.
Yeah.
And he's so smart.
Oh yeah.
Really
he's,
smart.
Yeah, he's very brilliant.
He
Yeah,
is.
for sure.
Yeah.
It is. This has been great. I really love having you on the show. I hope
We're already
it's
done?
We're already done. Like I said, I wish I could keep you here for 72 hours. We could keep talking more.
Oh, this is great.
But I'd love to have you on board, and we've been fortunate enough to have some of your colleagues here as well.
Yeah, you have my friends here. Yeah, Dave Joyce and Jim Renee. See, those are my buddies.
They are, and you
my
know what?
buddies.
And everybody should know that
yeah.
everybody speaks very highly of each other.
Oh, we
You may
do.
not get along politically all the time, but I was astonished to see, just because of what you hear about going on in D.C., the wonderful things that Dave says about Jim and Jim says about you. And I mean, it really is just amazing.
Ohio is the best delegation in the entire U.S. House of Representatives.
You heard it first.
There's no doubt about it.
I know a lot of the Northeast Ohio
that's
crew,
good. We got a
and
good
it's
group.
a lot of great people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you so much, Bobby. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, this was wonderful. Thank you for coming on board,
Oh,
and then
absolutely.
hopefully we'll have you on again soon.
I'd love to do it.
Thank you.
Love
Thank
to
you
do
very
it.
much. And thank
All
you
right.
to everybody out there, too. We appreciate you tuning in, and please stay tuned to the next episode. Thank you.